Hey you guys, how you doing? How's your progress coming? Simon, I saw your image that you sent to me and you posted on the board. It's totally fine to go through and start thinking about the wings and how you're going to block that out. Everything looked cool as you had it. Next class, I'll actually be building the wings. Today we're going to be doing sort of just primary retopology on the body and the head, and we'll get started on the wings, but we're not going to go into the feathers. The feathers I would like to dedicate a little bit more time than we have for today, so that I can go in depth with it for you. So how's the progress going for everybody else? Were you guys all able to get your reference mesh into Maya? Were you able to finish sculpting? Anybody hit any walls, bringing anything over? You can tackle any issues you guys might have had right now before I get started with the tools. And actually, I started on my shader with transparency. I'm going to go ahead and take that off right now. And I'm actually on my laptop. For some reason, it is not wanting to show my questions panel. So I'm going to bounce over frequently to take a look at what you guys are doing, what you're saying. But my apologies if I don't get to you right away. So let's see, we use Lambert 2. I'm just going to take that transparency off. It's just going to get in the way. Still finishing sculpting, concepting where I'll go. And place feathers and finishing things up on the anatomy. Sounds good, Christian. And Simon, I saw your progress on the board. Alright, just give me a second. I'm just using a new setup, so just making sure that everything is working well here. Alright, so let's go ahead and close the attribute box up. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and maximize my space here. Hitting Control Space Bar to hide everything. So weird bouncing back and forth. Right now I'm in Mac Maya, and typically I use Windows Maya. But the controls are slightly remapped in some ways. Like right now, I'm just, there we go. Okay, I'm good. All right. So where I'm going to start is we're going to do half the body, and then we're going to end up doubling it over. I don't really like using Maya's symmetry. I find I crash frequently running that. Oh, it looks like I need to shut that down. Matt and Kim is coming to a city near me. Fantastic. Let's trash that. All right. Make sure nothing else is going to get in the way here. All right, there we go. So as I said, I'm going to do half the body here and then double it over after we're done with retopologizing this. I'm going to exclude the wings to the very end, and then I'll bring those back. Right now I just have those pieces hidden. And I guess a little bit of setup is in order. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to bring back the attribute editor, and just to keep things organized, I'm going to create a couple layers here, and I'll call this one body, so we can easily hide and show this. Okay, it's not just me. There's some weirdness going on here. Ah, I see. It's already a live object. There we go. Control A. We'll get to making it live in just a moment. Add selected objects. Let's call this wings and eyes. Practice good naming convention here and get our underscores in there. There we go, wings and eyes, save. Let's take these pieces, right click, add selected objects, and I'm going to turn off the visibility here. Alright, now I can hide everything. And we're going to be using the new mesh tools inside of 2015. We're going to be leaning pretty much on the quad draw tool. And I don't see us using a whole lot, maybe target weld, stuff like that, but I'll be walking through a few of these. And this whole tool set that they introduced in 2015 is absolutely awesome, as well as some of the new UV stuff that's we're gonna be touching on our next lecture. But I will, just if the question comes up, I'm gonna just say this. UVing, I typically leave to nearly the very last thing that I do. ZBrush has gives you the capability of copying and pasting UVs and transferring UVs from one mesh as long as the point count matches, or the topology matches. You can transfer UVs from one mesh to another. I find that through a good portion of what we go through between Maya and ZBrush, there's plenty of opportunity for something to go wrong with the UVs in transfer. So I'd rather not even try and track the UVs or even mess with them and then have to go back and redo it again. I want to do it once and I want to have it done. So we will be UVing, but we probably won't be UVing until the very end. It'll probably be the last thing that we do before we generate maps and send it into Marmoset. So, moving forward. For Retopo, I typically start at the eyes. If you remember our region talking about regions of animation and edge looping, keep that in mind. I don't have a whole lot of flexibility that needs to happen in the beak, right? There shouldn't be any flexibility there. But I do have this hinge motion that needs to happen here, and then I have some down here. So we're still going to obey the same rules that I laid out for creating animatable or riggable regions. And then I'm going to respect that some of these are hard surfaces, and that I'll work that into the topology. But let's start at the beginning. Let's right click, and we're going to make this object live. What that does is it makes it, let's try that again, object, make live. There we go. So now that this is a live object, I can no longer select it, but what it allows me to do is to go into any tool and snap to its surface, and also slide verts along its surface. So I'm going to go to the quad draw tool. I'm going to bring up the option box. That way I have all my options open here. And how many of you have used any of these new features? Any of you guys played with this? Okay. This quad draw is phenomenal. Before I used the draw polygon to start, and then just do a series of extrusions, appending polys, merging vertices, inserting edge loop, and having to do a lot of marker menu actions, right? Bouncing between different functions. And when I first started using 2015, I was really frustrated because I was like, well, this is horrible. They hid all my go-to functions, and I had to learn a new workflow with these new tools. So the way the quad draw works is you drop a point, you're dropping your points in, and then you hold down the shift key and you create your faces, right? And you can grab these verts now, and since this object is live, we can slide this around the surface to place it. You hold down control to insert an edge loop, and it automatically snaps to the surface. you know, I had honestly been soured on retopologizing inside of Maya before the quad draw. And if you use nothing else here, this quad draw is really just worth going into Maya for retopo.